Another argument you have.
Please let's have the insight of the majority leader. Majority leader is saying something about the budget, which is very surprising.
Provides that the budget should be presented to the House latest the 15th of this month. The discussions that are going on now involving the IMF, I think is going to take a little bit of a while. If that is the case, you then have to strand out the conclusions and factor them into the budget. And after we've succeeded in doing that, because it's a budget for government, it will have to go before cabinet for some discussions, integrations, and maybe additions and subtractions before it comes ultimately to Parliament. So I believe it's going to be quite difficult to submit to the 15th deadline. I'm not too sure as I sit here. I still have to have some discussions with
Dr. Kamadi. You are very close to Dr. Bawumia, head of the government economic management team. Yeah. Dr. Nanado Dankwe Kufuado, the president. Gideon Wako was here 2-3 days ago. Yeah. And you people are going to delay the budget for Ghanaians.
Oh, that's
Why?
Interesting. If you have followed the history of this country in terms of the fourth Republican dispensation, you would understand and agree with me that certain times the exigencies of a time demands for a delay in the budget.
What is exigency?
Depending on the situation.
What situation?
Why? We've had budgets delayed in this country before. Why? The Financial Management Act, spells and prescribes when the budget is supposed to, the fiscal
We all know that very well.
We know when the fiscal policy closes, December 31st. Yes. Okay? It is not to say, that is the more reason why somewhere in November, by second week or third week, you are expected to present the fiscal policy.
He's saying it will delay.
With all respect. Yeah. It will delay because we sit here and we have listened to the President of the Republic of Ghana, who says that, look, there's some negotiation ongoing at the IMF. He gave a ratio when he spoke. In fact, the majority leader gave a ratio. He gave a reason why he anticipates a delay in the budget, which he said has to do with the negotiation currently going on with the IMF.
You know the setup. It's because you know the setup.
No. What do you mean by we know the setup? What does that mean? It is not who knows the setup. The point is that they are currently having a negotiation with, or some negotiations with the IMF. And he's saying that until a conclusion is reached, okay, we cannot factor that into the budget policy, which is also demanded. Now, if that conclusion is not reached, then of course we have to delay the budget. That is exactly what he's speaking to. Now, the point is, and which is frightening, it's common knowledge. Everybody knows that, yes, Ghana is at IMF currently discussing with them to come up with a program. Now, if the program is reached, the budget or the fiscal policy for next year is supposed to have same or capture same.
Agreement with the IMF?
I think that I listened and I heard that they were projecting somewhere by the end of this year, we should be able to reach a program.
So the budget will be read by the end of the year?
Well, we've had budget read in January before. You forgot the Asempa budget? When transition was ongoing, Asempa budget came somewhere January, going to February.
Because that was a,
I'm saying that
was a transitional period.
Absolutely, but nonetheless.
But even before that, there was going government had read a provisional budget.
This reason is equally critical. Yes. It's equally critical. And don't let it sound as if that this is the first time Ghana is going to IMF. I've always made this point. That 17 times every 4 years.
You won't go to the IMF after
just like John Dramani Mahama said that he won't go to IMF before he went to IMF. The same way. So I'm saying
that's what John Dramani Mahama.
Yes, of course. And our government also said it. John Kuma was on floor. He said it. I listened to him. The finance minister also said it. I agree. But I'm saying that when there's a change or a shift in particular position, and you are still in that process, you ought to be factual to the people. And what is the fact? What you spoke to was the fact.
Why is it that when you know that this is trite knowledge, you don't communicate directly? You have to wait. The finance minister and his team came from the IMF. This is the third week or fourth week. We are now being told that we're now going to see a delay in the presentation.
Why has the date for the presentation of the budget reached that you have not had the budget that they are now communicating? They are communicating before the time. So what are you talking about?
So we have to wait.
No,
3 weeks after.
you've just asked why is the delay. And I'm saying there's no delay. They are communicating before the time, the budget presentation. So I don't see why the counters. They have been proactive. They tell you that, look, we anticipate delay
You call this
because of
proactiveness?
XYZ. Of course, why not?
After 3 weeks returning from Washington.
If of course, why? It is critical for us to do that. And once it's critical for us to have the negotiation ongoing, it is equally critical for us to tell Ghanaians what we anticipate. So for him being the business leader in parliament, being the majority leader, telling us that he anticipates a delay in it, I don't see why it should be news. Why should that be news?
It shouldn't be news.
No, it shouldn't be.
What
Why
do
should
you
it
make
be
of this,
news?
Fred?
Things fall apart. The center cannot hold. They don't have anything to tell Ghanaians. They don't have anything to present to us.
Well, they are
And
with
that
the
is why
IMF.
they're delayed. Of course, IMF, they are not making any headway there. They are not making any headway. IMF is disappointed in government. That Ghana doesn't deserve to be where we are now, but for our own recklessness and mismanagement and corruption. IMF believe that if they give this government even 20 billion Ghana cedis today, by a week's time, the money will vanish into thin air, and there will be nothing to show for. So they are very skeptical, they are very reluctant as to how to even agree with them on any terms. Okay, things fall apart. The government doesn't have anything to present to us. They have no information to give to us in the way of a budget. You heard that majority leader. He said, I don't know, I have to go and ask, I have to go and call. Who is he going to talk to?
Finance minister.
The man doesn't know. The finance minister doesn't know. The president doesn't know.
Oh, how?
The nation is
The
on
president
autopilot.
address, you didn't see the 12
Oh,
points.
my
Let me just
brother.
apprise you of the 12 pointers. Perhaps maybe that will also
So
keep
you are going to waste your time on that again.
Oh, what do you mean by I'm going to? I'm asking you questions.
Roland, before God and man, you sat behind a television set on Sunday and you listened to your president. Were you inspired?
Restore macroeconomic
Were you
stability
encouraged?
through an IMF supported
Rhetorics?
program.
You see, so as usual, the rhetorics. Now
Encourage
in the
traders to
budget,
tone down profiteering, which is contributing to inflation.
I am saying that the rhetorics, 12 items have been listed. Now present a budget and tell us how you are going to achieve this. And because they don't have a clue as to how to achieve this thing, they are running away. Running away. They are running away. Because let's just say something to Ghanaians. As usual, he has come to do it. Now present the budget, give us concrete measures we are putting in place, the methodology, what we are going to do to realize whatever points we have put out there. Because you don't have anything to put out, you are running away. The finance minister doesn't know when they are going to present the budget. Why? Kama didn't tell us that because we are having IMF engagement, what have you. Why? Is it today we started the engagement? Didn't we know? Didn't we know that we have IMF?
So,
and how does being with IMF stop us from presenting a budget?
it's hard to be
I
part
have
of
not
the budget if
invited you
don't
to
know.
my conversation.
Then you-
I have not.
No, I'm only
I have
correcting
not.
you. Don't
And
be
to come and
ignorant about
sit here and say that in 2017 the budget delayed, that is not true. You corrected it, but for the sake of emphasis, that the government that left office, NDC administration, presented a budget before you came into office. So to claim that we didn't present a budget,
But those are usually that's
what we
done
do.
during the
Transition
transitional
period.
That is not a
Can I
budget.
land?
Please, that's
Can
not a
I
budget.
land?
He's
Can
correct.
you allow
That's a
me?
mistake.
But what is
What is it?
What is
If
it?
you are exiting, you don't present
Please,
a
you-
fiscal policy.
No,
It is the new government that comes in that present a fiscal policy.
So what do you present?
in the tentative for the 3 months transition
What
is
was
what
it?
you present.
What was it?
Obviously,
What is it called?
What
Look,
is it called?
He said, listen
Dr.
to me.
What is it
He
called?
said that
I'm giving
the
PhD
government
post.
of
Dr. Kamal
NDC
didn't
would
have
no, please. Roland, let's be fair.
You
He
are
said that
wasting
they
his time.
had. I'm
Note
not
it
wasting
down,
his
note it
time.
down,
I'm not
please.
noting it down.
Note
But
it down.
why? I know
Note
you
it
don't have
down.
a pen. Collect this a pen. Collect right.
Please,
You
continue.
see, the man cannot tell us what it
Making
is
a
called.
mistake.
You see, Roland, where we are as a country, and when I listen to my brothers, yes, I know they are frustrated, I know they are struggling, but the posturing is not good. You don't need to be screaming and shouting and throwing your hands. We are simply not in normal times. And your government doesn't have a clue as to how we can get out of where we are.
Did you read the president's
has a
12
clue?
points?
I am
It is
saying
not a fair
that
comment.
you have read the points. The points are only beautiful on paper. In reality, nothing. Zero, zero. The president knows he cannot achieve this because the president was compelled to address the people of this country. And that is why he cannot even stand before Ghanaians on live television and make a presentation that they have to pre-record this thing, edited it. Even then, after his presentation, his Minister of Information was on radio contradicting
It's
him.
not the first time we have a pre-recorded
We are-
statement from the president. It's a
Please,
normal thing.
I am saying that, how can, listen, how
you
can
wanted
that
it
contradict
live?
himself? I wanted it live. to see
What's
the
the
president
difference?
really
Like the way
means,
you're speaking, like, what's
so
the
that
difference?
if all Ghanaians will get to know if the president really means what he's saying. Now this thing was pre-recorded, edited, and they gave to us what they want to give to us, 12 points. I am asking you, how are they going to achieve these 12 points? How are they going to achieve it?
They will achieve
As
it.
for announcing policy statement,
They've stipulated ways by which they're going to
Which
make
are the
sure
ways?
that profiteering. They said they are engaging
you see,
the market
you
queens,
see the
etc.
problem we have. This government has refused to take responsibility for everything. They are blaming other people for our problem and not themselves. Now it is the market women who are so wicked, who take so much about their profit, they don't care about Ghana, and they are making foodstuffs very expensive in the market. How can we continue to behave like this?
Right.
When you have not fixed our rules, when the price of petroleum products are going up every day, you are not thinking about the cost of cutting foodstuff from the villages or from the farms to the city centers. You are not interested in that. You are not interested in the cost of spare parts. And you think that the market tomorrow goes to sit over there and sells plantain. Nobody comes to buy. The plantain goes rotten. He goes to throw it away. For him, she's making profit. Let's look at the farmer that you are blaming. That's the farmer that is making food to be expensive. What is the living condition of the farmer? The poor woman who's at Agbogboshi, Malata market, who are selling. What is their condition of service? Look at them. And so the point I am making is that I am not surprised this budget is delayed. Whatever document they are going to present to us, see, Ghanaians, trust me, let us just be praying that God in heaven intervenes.
This is not
if
prayer.
you are going to put your trust, if you are going to put your trust in this government, the government is clueless.
No,
the government has no idea. The government doesn't know how to come out of where we are now. That's the reality.
Come on.
They will not admit it, but that's the reality.
Yeah.
They are so helpless.
We have 4 quarters in a year.
Yeah.
Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4.
Yeah.
And I've worked for 7 years in corporate.
Okay.
And corporate entities make projections with governments of Ghana's budget.
Okay.
Now here lies the case. Already their cost of production is high. They are experiencing extreme forex losses. They are waiting on the finance minister based on the orders of cabinets as headed by the President of the Republic to give orders for the budget to be read, for them to make sure that they have their projections right. It is going to throw all their projections for the last quarter out of gear if this is delayed. What do you say?
You're on point. Budget affects every single body.
You know that I'm right.
With all respect, you have just asked the question. I'm saying the budget affects every single body in this country. That is why it's a fiscal policy. Whether companies, whether whatever, everybody has what it takes to work with in that budget. So I agree with you perfectly when you make that point. And talking about maybe timing, Q1, Q2 up to the Q4. Now, what are we talking about here? When the majority leader speaks about delay in the presentation of the budget, we are not told whether it's going to delay in 2 days, 3 days, 1 week, or whatever. The anticipated date that we all know, which the law actually prescribes, is supposed to be 2nd week or 3rd week of November, as it were. Now, the majority leader says there could be delay because of the negotiations ongoing at IMF. You and I sitting here, we are now speaking to a speculative piece which has not been emphatic to say that, look, we are delaying it.
You and who are speculating? You are speculating.
We are discussing the matter on the table when you're part of it. That's what I'm saying. You and I sitting here.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is that we are not told emphatically by the majority leader that the delay that I actually spoke about is either going to take a week or 2 or 3. Now, so if you ask me a question that, look, if Q1, Q2 is likely affected, don't I think indeed it's going to affect systems and the way the economy is going to run? I agree completely with you. But I'm also saying that we are all speaking to speculation because we don't really know how long the delay is going to take. And we are not even sure, though he has indicated there could be delay, we are also sure that in case the negotiation comes to an end, say for example, before the prescribed date for the budget, could the budget be put together and read before even the 1st quarter and the 2nd quarter that you are talking about? So yes, projections might be affected, but I'm saying that until we are able to tell which date particular that the budget is going to come, we cannot speak to this matter, of course, creditably. Yeah, the question that you've asked me, we cannot.
It is not for you to
Charlie,
announce
he's
the
ended it
date.
in 60 seconds.
No,
He's
it
ended-
is not
this
for
is
you.
in record time.
It is not for you, but the matters have anything to say, so how are they expecting to come?
Oh,
continue
please,
to
it's
talk?
not- it's unfair.
No, it's
Well,
not
no,
his
no,
fault.
it's okay.
I
I
don't
didn't
blame
mean to
you.
invite
I
you.
don't blame
Robert
you.
Rouse saying nothing.
I'm not blaming you.
You sit here and then
Yes,
you call
I'm
people
not
names.
blaming.
I can do
No,
equally.
I'm not blaming
But I'm
you.
saying that we are speaking
I
to
am
Ghanaians
always
who are
saying
very
that.
objective.
I'm sorry.
We're not speaking to people
I'm
who
sorry.
sit down,
I'm sorry.
only
This
come
is
and
okay.
rant and have say
It's
nothing.
okay, it's okay, it's
You are
okay.
saying somebody's
It's
clueless,
okay,
somebody's
it's okay,
this,
it's
and
okay.
you ended up saying nothing.
Okay,
But
it's
I've
okay.
granted you that,
It's
respected
o-
you.
it's okay, it's
But of
okay.
course, he has asked
It's
me a question,
okay.
and I've educated you about what
He
is
is
supposed
saying
to happen.
that
Don't
you
sit
did
here
it
and
in
use
1
throw
minute.
tantrums when you are
No,
saying
he
nothing.
is saying that I did it in 1 minute. I'm saying that you don't have much to say.
It is
no.
That is what I'm saying.
when there's substance that you have a
out,
short
come out.
Okay, that's
Come
fine.
out.
When there's substance, you have a soft speaker.
Let's
When
leave
you
that
have
for-
nothing to
let's
say, you
leave that
rabble
for
rouse.
judgment.
So you are rabble
Okay,
rouse.
that's
So
fine.
now,
No problem,
when
no
there's
problem.
substance in the
when
content,
there's
No,
substance, you
problem,
have to be
no
more
problem.
precise.
No.
Precision.
Precision.
When there's substance, it's precise.
Precision.
But when you sit down and rabble
Dr. Kamal,
rouse, you talk
precision.
the whole day saying nothing.
Please be short.
The mind is very short.
No, but the reality
Yes,
is
of
that
course. He answers the question.
when you speak to industry players, they depend on government's own policy direction, and the reason why those who are watching the markets, the economy, have said that we're in trouble is that government hadn't sent the right sort of signals. Now, the next signal we're even sending is that the budget is going to delay. That sends another signal to those who are planning in industry, in the services sector, etc.
Well, that is why I have a difficulty. It's as if the government doesn't really know what is happening in the economy and what is happening in the country.
Oh, you can, that can
A few days ago, I watched a video, I think from City TV or so, by your very good friend Omar Sanda, when he interviewed one of these industry players, a 61-year-old man, who has to go down his knees before in
you
front
mean
of
Ken Thompson?
Ken Thompson, very well, and pleaded with the president that from where he sits and from what he's seeing, where this country is heading is serious, and that president must take an action. The argument we are making back and forth, it is not for me for the government to determine or to announce the date that a budget will be presented. It is not for you to do it. That is the duty of the Ministry of Finance. They are supposed to communicate that to the House of Parliament. If the leader of government business in the House is saying that nobody has communicated anything to me, I don't know what is happening. I have to go and find out. We are in November. As a matter of fact, by now, as you rightly said, last quarter of the year, private institutions, industry and everybody must have their own plans and projections and what have you for next year. And see, by now, first week of the month is almost, and it's ending today. And they don't know when we are going to present budget. And you don't think that we should ask questions about it. Or you don't think that the ministry has a responsibility to come and account or announce it to the people of this country, then that's your own problem. You see, the least government can do is to at least carry Ghanaians along. Let us know what you are doing at every step of the way. Carry us along. We have returned from IMF. We have had some negotiation with them. We are not seeing our way top, as you listed to quote you. We need to see our way top. But we are back. We have to present a budget. This is the day to present the budget. Then everybody can start preparing and planning. But if the senior minister, the man in charge of parliament, the government business, comes out to tell that he doesn't know, he's not too sure, then what about me? What about you, Roland, and our viewers? And so I'm saying that where we are not in good times. You can't allow that to be speculating. You are supposed to be more proactive, give us the needed information, so at least we can plan, we can budget, we can decide on what you want to do. That is all we are asking for. But like I rightly said, the government, there's some confusion in government. They don't know exactly what to do.
Kamal is here. He said,
You will not admit it.
confusing.
Again,
I think
there's some
since he
confusion.
started submission, he's
There's
saying this.
confusion in government. I'm telling the truth. They don't know what to present to the people of this country. They don't know what to say in the budget. Are they going to rehearse the same old things that we heard? Free SHS, one district, one factory, free students allowance. What are they going to say? How are they going to navigate their way out of the plan that we have? What interventions, the 12 points, what programs are they going to use to achieve it? That is the difficulty. And they know that once they put their budget out, Ghanaians will begin to ask the questions. You say you do ABCD. How are you going to do it? In the past, They will come and announce those things, and the next moment, operator will run and go and look for money and go and borrow. Now you don't even have the opportunity to go and borrow. Now the only thing they are looking up to is IMF. And IMF today are reluctant. They are watching the guy's post and say, this guy, no. The money you got in your country, the bond market alone, you have got over $13 billion. There's nothing to show for. If we come and give you $3 billion, what can you do with it? You said COVID, you got about 34 billion.
$13 billion.
34 million. We don't have, again.
$13 billion, you said.
You don't know your bond market, all the money I've gotten from the bond.
That's okay.
The bond, you don't know how much money I've gotten. If you are surprised,
12 for 13 billion.
you see, from the go and find out. This are right, go and find out. 13 in all, go and find. Both the foreign, yes, go and find out. 13 billion. You have nothing to show for it.
I think we all are aware.
All the COVID funds, they have nothing to show for it. All the borrowing, have nothing to show for it. So right now, they don't even have the privilege of going to say that we are going to borrow money. So they don't know what exactly to do.
Come on.
And that is where we are to now.
Come on.
Yes.
There's a key consideration that we need to make.
Okay.
The consumers are reeling from the high transport costs. And so people have had to improvise. Yeah. And I know that you empathize. What would you advise that people do now? Now that fares are going up, diesel, petrol, etc. What advice do you give Ghanaians?
I think that...
Because since you are not the minister, you are only speaking for government.
As you have used the word empathy, okay, where we are, not just me, the president, the finance minister, actors in this government.
The president doesn't buy fuel.
No, please. Actors in this government, we've all alluded to the fact that indeed times are hard. We've alluded to the fact that we are in crisis. We've also alluded to the fact that indeed the prices of oil or the prices of petroleum products are actually on its higher side, as it were. Therefore, it affects completely our economy. So if you ask me a question as to what we can do, I mean, it's important that as government works to ensure that at least the forex market is ameliorated or is brought to a level that, of course, will not affect the prices of our fuel, and also ensure that availability of dollars is there. Well, the last time I checked, Bank of Ghana, the amount of money that we need to import products like petroleum products into the country is about $400 million in a month.
450.
$450 million. Bank of Ghana alone is able to give about $120 million. Okay? The rest of the forex or the FX, where will these BDCs get it from?
Okay.
So I'm saying that as government has to work strongly to ensure that there's availability of this dollar, as government also ensures that there's at least some depreciation of the cedi is kept, we should as a people,
I think that you're one of the most sincerest politicians
we should as a people ensure that at least we manage our situations and manage them well. But I think I empathize with everybody.
Yeah, we have to go for a break. But you will agree that the government has failed the people of Ghana.
How?
Oh.
How?
Taxation
I will disagree. I will disagree with you.
Even
Let me tell you why I will disagree with you.
You will not agree that...
Governance, listen, I am saying that we have made admission of we being in crisis. And of course, why? We didn't just wake up and then see ourselves in crisis. There are causative factors.
What are the
Why? We have always mentioned it, and everybody knows it. First of all, when Ghanaians gave us a mandate in 2017, from 2017 running to 2020, ask yourself, in fact, it began from 2020 that we had this contraction. So I'm saying that from 2017 to 2019, ask yourself, how was it managed? And now ask yourself, when he sits here and he talks blah, 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 I have always asked the NDC a single question.
So how did
Tell me where a single pro-poor policy that affects you and your mother in the village,
so
that these people have been able to inculcate it.
The president's government hasn't failed Ghanaians.
Yes, of course. I'm saying that they have not failed. I am saying that, yes, we have not failed.
I just praise you as sincere.
It doesn't matter. We have not failed because we have causative factors that we all know.
Come on, Dean Abdullah. You are saying that government has not failed Ghanaians.
No.
Have you been listening to the streets, the market women, and the wailing?
Why? I'm just from the streets. I came to you. So I have been listening to them. And I know.
And there's no admittance of failure on the part of government.
No, why not? I'm saying that government has actually told you, and I sat here to tell you, that yes, indeed, we are in hard times, tough times.
But it's not failure.
That is not to say
but
that.
It is not failure.
That is not to say that at least ab initio from the beginning of our reign to where we have failed.
But that is not failure.
That's not what it means. Why?
But
Why?
that is not
Are
failure.
you telling me there are no positives in the government?
Oh,
No
there-
achievements?
there are
So
some
if there are
achievements.
achievements, are you telling me just because you have had a failure on one or two issues, because prices have gone up, so government has failed? Is that a definition of failure? Then I'm saying that if we have achievements equally, you cannot just say that the government has failed completely.
All right.
I disagree with you on that.
We're taking a break. When we come back, we'll speak to an expert on how this delay in spelling out or reading the budget could affect the current difficulties that industry players are facing. Now let's get onto the phone lines and speak to the Dean of the University of Cape Coast Business School, Professor John Gachi. Good morning to you, Prof.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, Prof.
Good morning.
We just got wind from the majority leader that apparently the budget will be delayed. Now my question is, we know that is in a regulation or in an act, but beyond that, what could be the implications for industry, for those who tend to use some of these projections to also plan their financial year?
Well, it means that you are creating uncertainty for those who are finalizing their budget at this period. Most of the entities are finalizing their budget. And they need government policy, fiscal directions, and monetary policy, and even programs that government will undertake to inform as to how to shape their budget for 2023. So that uncertainty will delay, and the entrepreneurs, investors, all depend on the budget to shape their policy framework for next year. Even NGOs, they need the budget in order to inform them what they be thinking about for next year. So that gap is created, that risk is created, and it is not the best. But at least we need to emphasize the point that there is no reason whatsoever for the delay in the presentation of the budget. When it comes to the presentation of the budget, we have 6 periods enshrined in the Public Financial Management Act.
Yeah.
Cabinet is supposed to finish its work on the budget in October and hand it over to the finance minister to do the necessary revision and presentation to Parliament from 1st November up to 16th of November. And Parliament takes it over to do discussions and pass the budget by the close of 31st December of the year. If Parliament is not able to approve the budget, then a window is created in 2023 from January to March for which some sensitive expenditure could be made prior to the overall appropriation. So, and then we have had IMF programs consummated after budget, and after that, we go to Parliament for approval and revision of the budget to incorporate the details of the IMF negotiations into the budget.
Okay.
So this is not the first time. So there's no reason whatsoever for the delay.
Okay. Now, what does this then tell you based on your observation of the markets, your own observations within the business community in academia, and then our discussions with the IMF about how well or not our discussions are going with the IMF, and that is having the implication or the effect on the delay of reading the budget or coming out with it?
I think you can summarize your question. I didn't get.
I'm saying that, what does it tell you about how well we're doing with our negotiations with the IMF on getting some staff level agreement even before we come to the main board?
Well, I think if you read communicate from IMF from time to time, it seems always the challenge is coming from the cooperation and commitment of our government. So that is what we need to deal with. IMF doesn't have problem in analyzing what they have. But if what they are giving is not enough, then it depends on our government. That is the sentiment the IMF seems to be portraying. And our government has not been able to indicate to us that it's doing its best to meet what the IMF expects. And we shouldn't get to a point that we use the IMF program to buy time about the budget. So that is why I can foresee that we need to make it very clear to our government the risk involved in the delay in cooperating with the IMF, and for that matter, using the delay to suspend or delay the presentation of the budget will do more harm to the economy than when we are forthright with what we are expected to do.
All right. Let me ask you a last question. Currently, there are speculations that we're trying to go to the Gulf and then strike some agreements in there, at least create some buffers so that oil prices could come down. But you look at the way the Forex is playing out and its implications or effects on the petroleum prices. Can it get worse based on your own analysis?
Well, it depends on how the market takes that. The reality is that you won't go to the Gulf and get a crude oil, refined product in Ghana City. You will definitely get it in dollar. So the issue of depreciation is key. That is what government should focus on to ensure that we tame the depreciation of the currency. So there's no way you are going to buy a refined product half the price on the international market from that. There's no way you are going to buy half the price, a quarter of the price from gas as against the international market price. So the only thing you may get is maybe a sort of credit, and the government cannot continue to get to that sort of credit and assume some subsidies which we have run away from because of engaging in the deregulation regime. So it is not clear whether what government sought to do will remedy the situation.
Okay. Have you been impressed with government proposals on how they intend managing the situation in the interim, especially stemming from what the president said on Sunday and the further explanations by the relevant ministries or ministers of information, etc., in terms of how to keep us afloat until we stabilize?
I didn't get that point.
Have you been impressed with the suggestions so far made on how to keep us afloat in terms of making sure that we rein in the depreciation of the cedi before the last quarter comes to a close, just to keep us afloat in terms of the solution?
No, I'm not sure that we are giving any cogent statement that will attain the depreciation of the cedi. No matter how you look at it, it's about demand and supply. If we are not able to step up the supply to whatever means, I'm not sure we will be able to meet what we expect to see about the cedi. It's as simple as that.
The way you say it, we're in great difficulty. Things could get worse.
Well, things are getting worse. When we get to a point that we may not be able to take it anymore, it will be reflecting in the behavior of citizens. It will be reflecting on closure of businesses. I believe you're already aware that one of the big players in the shopping mall in Accra, again, is shutting down and then selling off the items in the shop. The shop is now very empty. Other businesses are doing so. We may see more of that if we are not careful.
Thank you very much. Dean of the University of Cape Coast Business School, Professor John Gachi. Fred, doesn't look good. He's being diplomatic. He's the dean, so he cannot be talking rough.
Well,
so
when the professor speaks, who am I to complain?
He says so far the solution, he doesn't see them as solutions.
Well, I think I've said that a number of times here and they nearly beat me up. So I'm scared now to repeat same. But that's the professor talking. He is doing research every day. He's interacting with people every day. He's engaging students, engaging the public. And come on, we can't joke with what is happening in our country. You see, as we speak now, Roland, I don't know the salary situation of you guys here.
You mean journalists generally are poorly paid?
Talk to the ordinary teacher.
Politicians are well paid
whose
when they are in
salary
government.
is about 2,000 Ghana cedis. Who will take part of that money? Maybe they have taken 2 years to go and rent a room, 2 years advance, and so he has taken some money from the bank. So the money that really goes into the account is barely 1,000 Ghana cedis. This man is supposed to pick a car every day to work and come back, pay water bill, pay electricity bill, feed himself. How do you expect him to survive? Around this time, as President Mahama proposed, institutions should think of how we can allow workers to work from home. There is no point asking everybody to come to work from morning and close back in the evening. What we should be thinking about now is how we can get the internet working well, so people can stay in their house, even through Zoom, have meetings, have discussions, without going to buy food until they are going to work. President Mahama started a program we call the Yalolo Bus. If you check the Accra-Pokwase Road, we had a spare road, express road, for those buses to be moving on. Can we increase the fleet? Can we talk to STC? Can we talk to Metro Mass? This is not the time for you to be thinking about profit. Just break even. Reduce your fares so that the ordinary Ghanaian can use your buses. Profit should not be the target at this point. If you look at all the projects the government did in the oil sector, we projected that in the stabilization fund we're going to get about $269 million annually per year. As we speak now, we have gotten close to about 800 million just the first 2 quarters, which means that we have gotten more money than we projected, we expected. The revenue that we're looking forward, we're projecting that we are going to get about 6 billion from the oil money. But as we speak now, we've gotten about 8. The year has not even ended yet, so we are making more profit. Can government look at even the taxes on petroleum products? Can we do some little adjustment? This is a time for government to take the hard decisions. See, there's something that breaks my heart. I travel around the Pokwase-Kasua Road over the weekend. Roland, in the name of road construction, if you look at the properties that they are pulling down around this time. So I ask myself, where is our conscience?
But they've taken compensation.
People please, they've not paid any compensation. No. My brother has 2 filling stations on that stretch. They pulled the 2 filling stations down. They didn't even come to him to sit down for any negotiation. Please, as for people, you are defending everything. I'm telling you what people are going through. Is this the time to do a thing like that? You are destroying people's businesses. Recently, I heard the regional minister went to the Teshi area over there and to go and put. I am not saying that when buildings are on waterways and those, we should not do them. But the timing is key. What Ghanaians are going through around this time, this is not the time to add on to their hardship. So for me, transportation, government can do something about it. Using State Transport Corporation, using Metro Mass, the Yalolo Bus.
Work from home.
Work from home.
It should be a directive.
A directive. We should work from, during the COVID time, at least we work from home. A lot of people work from home. Nothing really went back. If you go to the ministries, majority of the workers who go to the ministries, really, whatever schedules they have, they can operate from their homes without going there. Maybe once in a week.
Even private sector.
Private sector. Once in a week, you go and submit your report. If you have a Zoom, you have your meeting. We need to do some adjustment at least to cushion the people a bit. If things continue the way they are, Roland, I'm scared. I'm scared that by December, what will happen in this country?
Moving politics, but you agree?
Yeah, of course. Listen, he makes very cogent suggestions regarding public transport. How deliberate have we been about it? I recall when the Metro Mass Transport was actually
started by Kufuor.
Started by the MPP government under President Kufuor. Okay? And the kind of appreciation that the people gave to it. Okay? How well have we managed that to date? Okay? We have not done well. Go and see a fleet of buses. Under the NDC, I recall, when they had to go to China and bring those buses that were junk. Everybody knows. And that...
Now you are doing politics.
No, it's not politics. I'm reminding Ghanaians where we are. Sometimes people speak as if they are saints.
Non-junk.
No, of course.
But the thing
Yeah,
is
forget
that
the budget for Holland.
you see,
The
you
double
see,
decker
when you
bus.
speak,
No,
I
not
say
reminding
nothing.
you.
But I think
I'm
generally
saying
the
that
conversation is that
the conversation
as
is that
government,
we should
whether it's
deliberate
MPP
about
or
public
NDC,
transport.
we need to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Look, whether MPP on this, I've made this point
Across.
countless times. That look, from the independent till date, you remember when the whites left us with some money, okay? Now the first president of the Republic of Ghana, by 1965, he was looking for IMF to go and beg.
Since then, we've been there 17 times.
Every 4 years. Since then, every 4 years, averagely, we go to IMF.
And
tells me
and the current
that
one is by Nana
very
Dankwa
good.
Akufo-Addo.
Meanwhile, we have a constitution that spells out what we call National Development Planning Commission. And we are not even planning ourselves properly. We have a constitution that tells us that let's be deliberate about it.
Development plan that was produced.
Look, it's not. You have just spoken. You just said that things are on paper. We do things on paper. And we're not acting. That's what we do. And everybody, look. So the NDC, we've seen them. We've seen the MPP. We've all looked at it. Where we are today. You're speaking to the man. The professor.
Yeah.
He's been so clear
Candid.
that look. Clearly, if things are going on this way, we can never have a change. So my brother's suggestion that look, public transport should be looked at properly.
Work from
look,
home.
I travel. He travels. You get somewhere, you don't drive. In the US, for instance, if you're going to drive your car, it's more expensive than using the train. And even ministers.
And the train is properly structured.
Ministers, whoever, chief executives are using trains. Everybody has a metro card. You go in and go. So I'm saying
Dr.
that we
Kama,
should.
why is it that
we should?
NDC MPP politics, big men,
Yeah.
whether current Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, past John or Akufo-Addo, you people, you travel there. We will only go to Kaswa, Nima, those places. But you people, you travel abroad. You don't come and implement the things.
You know why? It depends on the people that you are governing as well.
If you mean we don't
Yeah,
like
you know
good
why?
things.
Let me tell you. Policy is said that I've always said that we have misunderstood democracy. Let a leader today, like he just said, that somebody has gone to pull down houses. I know very well that we have a law in this country. You cannot just wake up.
Because Ayalolo was a good thing, right?
Wait a minute. Because you're a government, say that I am
And
going
the
to
president
construct road,
came,
and therefore...
the president and his minister, they came to destroy it.
Let me make this point. Just get up and say that because of construction of road, I am going to pull down your house. Legitimately? No, you can't. So the point is that if you are actually building on a particular, road, that is
Dr.
supposed
Kamal,
to be road.
you see, the thing
At
you are
the end
saying
of the day, if it is
you
wrong,
say that
it's
when you
supposed to
will
pull
travel,
down. But if
Holland,
it's not going to
I
be
don't
wrong,
see.
you are supposed
The
to be giving
president,
accommodation. And
the
I'm saying
president.
all of us travel and come. The reason we have is that the problem we have here is that this way of
Going back
understanding ourselves has to do with us, our people. If our leaders say, look, let's implement XYZ, somebody is sitting somewhere and saying, no, because it's going to affect me, I have my uncle somewhere and I have my auntie somewhere, let him go and talk to whoever that leader is, and then for that policy, because it's going to affect me negatively, it shouldn't be
Dr. Kamal,
implemented. These
Mr.
are the
Kamal.
things we need to fight. So the people themselves will need to
you
rise
would
up.
have been a nice minister, serious, because your ideas are just so.
No.
Because, for example, even when you go to the NDPC, former planning minister Professor Jambafo, he said the NDPC before he even came. We had an inherited 40-year development. Dr. Nimoy Thompson, great plan.
Yeah.
And then Ayalolo, there was even a promise that there will be train in the sky, the sky train.
Yeah.
And then we're told that even there will be from Western region train lines to Kumasi, transports our iron ore and all that. There will be one to Hamile, Paga, those places. You like this, you have good plans. But
I think, it's good, very good. And I love the way sarcastically you put your question. It's very nice.
Oh.
I just love it. I love the way sarcastically you put up your question. You're a great journalist. You can also be one of the best guys to lead Media Commission. And of course, looking at the way you present your questions are excellent. You see, so sometimes I think that it's a good question. No, it's a very good question. The skies,
you are watching that. No, these are promises. Should I put the pictures down?
No, it's good you have brought them.
Please, Oliver.
Oh no, I've not said it so.
Sky train.
Listen to me.
Google it.
Roland,
Oliver,
I've not said
please
you are wrong.
Google Sky train.
I'm not saying you are wrong. I'm saying that these are very great questions you have asked to remind politicians and to remind us of what we say. And also, I'm saying that the people, we owe it a duty to whoever is in leadership to remind that person as well.
That's Nana Dankwa Akufo. He's the current leader. We have to remind him.
Yes. Just as we have to remind Nana Akufo-Addo, any government that comes, even after him, Nana Akufo-Addo will have his tenure. When it ends, somebody will
We had
come,
a lot
no
of
matter
hope
what.
in him.
The person who is coming, let us also checkmate that person.
He has taken
It's very
us to
important.
IMF.
So,
Oliver, do you have the Sky Train? At least the Sky Train.
Roland.
That's right, Sky Train.
Roland.
Roland,
let
I'm
me-
not
let me
saying
just
that.
explain
Oh no, I've
that.
not finished.
It's on Ghana Web, 3news.com. It's there.
You see,
Let me just
Roland,
explain.
No.
let
Solution.
the people, let
I'm
the
not going
people
to
of
clamor
Ghana,
on it.
let the people of Ghana,
We'll
let the
take a
people
break
of
very
Ghana also understand that look, we all have a role to play in ensuring that we get good governance.
Thank you.
Let us hold governance to it. I'm not saying that our government is 100%. We have done what we can do, and we are still doing what we can do.
Our debt level is now over
there's
400
there's more improvement.
We haven't
to
done
actually
well
work
as a
on
country.
it were.
Roland, you see, me, when it comes to things that affect all of us, I don't intend necessarily to do partisan politics with it. We all know the history of metro mass transport. You remember we went to Holland and they donated some double-decker right-hand drive vehicles to us. The companies that manufactured those vehicles had even then collapsed. When they brought the vehicles here, we didn't have spare parts. In less than a year or two, all became scrap.
I think those right-hand were from the UK.
From
but
UK,
later
that's
we
right.
had the DAF
So
and some
we
of
all
those
know where
Leyland
we
and
have
some
come
of
from,
those.
saying that it is true we all travel, and we see public transport out there.
So the
We
question is
don't
why are we
need to
not able to do it?
reinvent anything. Let us go and learn from them
the
and
president
come and implement.
was the last hope that
You see,
he will do Sky
I
Train.
think
Do you have the Sky Train?
I think that, Roland, my brother said something that is so dangerous. When he says that it depends on the people you are governing. See, we don't vote for leaders to come and pamper people. We vote for leaders to come and take decisions. We vote for leaders because they give us the impression that they have solutions to our problems, and so they are coming to solve our problem. We don't vote for leaders to come and lament and come and cry. Me, I can lament, I can cry, I can weep. But you are supposed to provide solutions, because when you were seeking the mandate of the people, you told them you do A, B, C, D. You know all our problems, and there are solutions to them. If today you are not delivering on those, and we are saying it, the least you can do is either apologize, take responsibility, and carry us along. But when you start this thing, by 2015, this thing happened, 2014, this thing happened, what are you doing? Why then did you go for the elections?
Okay.
Why then
Kamaldeen Abdullahi is a lead communicator for
Roland,
government.
the point I made
and then the
earlier on that-
NPP.
the
And then
point I
also
made
Fred
earlier on-
Agbanyo.
Roland.
Fred Agbanyo.
Oh, no, just to give you an
Fred
information.
Agbanyo
Just to give you an
is
information.
also communicating
I'm saying that
for the opposition NDC.
Expect the budget by
Kamaldeen
the 24th
Abdullahi
of November,
is a
which
strong
not-
member of the constituency
I'm
of
saying,
Nantong.
expect the budget
And then
to
also,
be read
sir-
by the 24th of November, as it were. And like I told you, we have up to 30th of November to present it, so it's going to be still there.
Professor Gachi says it's already late.
I'm saying it's
You've
not.
already
No,
flouted
we have
the
up to 30th of
public
November.
financial-
By law, we
Please,
have
please,
up to
please,
30th
stop
of November to
this.
present it.
Come on, stop
By
this.
24th
People are
to be
watching
ready.
you.
No, I am.
The Sky Train,
I am
please
very
put
sure
it
of what
on.
I'm talking about.
It hasn't been achieved. Feasibility studies for Ghana's $3 billion
but Honorable
Sky
Amewu
Train.
said
No,
this will not
please.
happen.
Project inconclusive despite $2 million spent.
Is that the
according
Sky
to the
Train?
AG report. Yes,
Is
you
that
see,
is
the
that
thing
the
that
Sky
was
Train?
supposed to
Yes.
have been in Accra.
And the budget to be read by
promised by
24th of
government.
$2
November.
million spent.
I'm saying the budget will be read by the
Hey,
24th of
$2
November.
We're in trouble,
million. Munchendi. Yeah, $2 million.
And we spent $2 million, did the feasibility.
Munchendi.
No $3 billion Sky Train.
Chai.
Oh, Ghana.
$2 million. Oh.
All right, let me end the discussions.
Anyway,
A friend
I'm
of
saying
mine,
by 24th we'll have
a
the
friend
budget.
of mine just got this right now. This is email sharp from EcoBank EDC. Attached is a copy of your investment statement for the period October 1, 2022 to October 31, 2022. To ensure protection to investors and in compliance with all regulatory directives and financial valuation standards, we wish to inform you that the valuation method for units held in our funds have been updated to fair value valuation. They continue. This means that unit holders who wish to exit their investments will trigger their redemptions at current market prices, which may result in losses in view of the current declining bond prices. Your value in the fund is the total amortized value. However, redemptions will be based on the marked-to-market value. And they told my friend, investors that choose to remain in the fund until Ghana's macroeconomic health and bond prices improve are not likely to realize these losses. We encourage you to remain in the fund in order to preserve the value of your investments, as new inflows and maturities are invested at current interest rates that will help to improve the returns on the investments. So, all they are saying is that if you say in the investment, you get your value. If you decide to exit, haircut, or it's not a haircut. We're taking a break. Please, if you want to get interactive, go search for TV3 Ghana, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, add the hashtag TV3 New Day. We're taking a break. We'll be right back. Come on in.